Hi, I'm Irma Lancaster.
And I'm Adam Wright. On today's Parent University, iReady. What is it and how can parents and students use it?
It's spring testing time. We'll tell you how to prepare your child.
And it's swim season. We'll share useful tips on how to keep your kids safe in and around pools.
All that and more on today's Parent University. Hi families, welcome to the March edition of Parent University with our first guest this morning, Candace Allevato. She is our Director of Secondary Curriculum, and she is going to tell us all about testing season coming up for students, how we can support our students, and what you as parents can do to support them. Hello, Candace.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
We're so glad to have you back. You are one of our favorite guests. People are always asking, when is Candace coming back?
Oh, I love that.
All right, so we are, I know it's March, but end of the year is so close. There's all kinds of testing. We have state testing, we have finals, we have just your ordinary regular tests. Tell us a little bit about what's different this year as far as state testing is concerned.
So as we're approaching the spring testing, which is our summative testing season to really check in with students and see everything they've learned this year, while there's some new pieces, it's not as new because when Florida made a change this year, they implemented progress monitoring at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and then again for the spring. So our students have actually engaged with the same platform assessment both in August, again in January, that they're going to see here in the month of May. But what's new about it, it's our Florida assessment of student thinking. So for our parents, it's called the FAST. So if they're hearing their student talk about FAST, that's what it is. And for our youngest learners, this is something new. It actually starts in voluntary pre-kindergarten all the way in 10th grade for our English language arts benchmarks.
All right, and how is progress monitoring better than just one annual testing? I know the district was already doing this. Now it's just the way it's done. So why is that a good thing?
So at the beginning of the year, we're really able to utilize it as a baseline. So teachers are able to come in and see what do the students already know and where are the opportunities, but also for our parents as well. They get the immediate feedback. So not only do students and teachers get that, but our families get it as well. And I know I mentioned ELA, we have it for mathematics too. So students are also getting that same feel of assessment in kindergarten through 8th grade for mathematics, and then our algebra and geometry students are taking an end of course exam. But this really allows a teacher to hone in on those necessary skills for our students to be successful.
So yeah, I was going to say they're better prepared at the end of the year or close to the end of the year.
Absolutely, because it's ongoing progress monitoring throughout the year. So as we're approaching this spring assessment, it shouldn't feel like a surprise. Right. They've already been engaged with it. Teachers have been looking at it. And one of the pieces that we do kindergarten through grade 12 as we're looking at supporting our students is providing interventions and enrichments inside the classrooms. So teachers right now, especially as we're going to be coming back from spring break, since this will air in March, they're really focused in on how can I differentiate in my classrooms and provide the students exactly what they need. So we've created targeted resources for them.
So within the classroom there's support, but there is also there is also support outside of the classroom after hours. Tell us a little bit about some of that.
Absolutely. So one of the programs that we have implemented now, this is our second full year, we've had it 2.5 years, is our Connect with Lee. So it's after hour support that's available to any student in kindergarten through 12th grade, and it's virtual one-on-one tutoring that families can access. So students go to their launch pad and they have a Connect with Lee icon and they engage with a live educational expert. So there are certified teachers that help students with classwork, homework, or just general needs. So they can log in and say, I need help with. And this is as early as kindergarten, but it also goes through our advanced courses at high school. So as we're talking about all things testing season, we're also getting ready for our advanced tests, International Baccalaureate, Cambridge, AP, so they can log in and get help there. in addition to ACT and SAT. So for families, I'm not sure, I know at some point I go, I would like somebody else to help you with that as well.
Yeah.
They can log in and it gives our students support. So instead of a family trying to dig and go, okay, how did you learn that in class? They can engage with a teacher who has the necessary resources to support the students.
Now you mentioned various different types of testing. What's the best way for a parent to know when things are going to happen? What exact testing is my child going to go through, and how can I help them?
Absolutely. So on our leeschools.net page, if families go to the parent portal, they can access additional information about the FAST testing underneath the F for FAST. They can also connect with Lee there. But in addition, the place they want to get the most information is going to be their individual child's school, because the dates look different as well. We have set district dates, but you always want to get that information from the school. And our schools send home letters, so parents know well in advance of when testing is. We want to make sure students are there in attendance, getting that good night's sleep, a good breakfast, whether it's at home or at school. So more information will be coming from there, but immediate information can be found on our webpage.
Thank you so much for that information. Is there anything else I didn't ask you that you want to make sure families know about testing?
Just always want to say to our families, thank you for the continued support and partnership. We can't do this alone, and their partnership is key in it. So having your students in attendance every single day, that way our amazing teachers have the opportunity to work with them, is always appreciated.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us here again with all that great information, and we'll be sure to have you back.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with a presentation from Dr. Bethany Quisenberry at your request. What is iReady and how can I use it? In a few.
One, two, three, go. Solid to a liquid. Oh, yeah, high five. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Parent University. My name is Bethany Quisenberry and I am excited to have the opportunity to talk to you about one of our innovative programs that we have implemented into our classrooms this school year, called iReady. iReady is an online assessment and instruction program that helps teachers provide all students a path to proficiency and growth in reading and in math. iReady has been implemented into our elementary and our middle schools. In elementary, students will participate in iReady in their reading block as well as their math block in kindergarten to 5th grade. In the middle schools, iReady is implemented for reading in all 6th, 7th, and 8th grade reading classes, and then for math in 6th grade, 7th grade, and in our pre-algebra course. Your student, as well as yourself, can access iReady through the Student Launchpad, as you see here. On each student's Launchpad that you access through launchpad.leeschools.net, there is an application that you can click on that will take you to your student's iReady. Each year, the students take a diagnostic in iReady 3 times. The diagnostic is really important because it gives the students their learning path. So the diagnostic determines which standards the students need intervention or possibly enrichment in reading and in math, and then it pushes out a learning path for those students. It also gives information for the teachers for how to help the students in the classrooms. This is an example of the parent report that will be sent home to all of our families each time the student takes the diagnostic. Sometimes the schools will send it home in their backpacks, and sometimes they will post it in their Google Classrooms. On the parent report, it's going to show you the scale score, which is their overall score on the diagnostic, and then it will also break it down by domains. So this shows an example of reading where it shows where the student tested in phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, and so on. You will also see a spot where it has the green shade and the gray shade. If the student's bar is in the green shade, that means that they are on grade level. You can also access the student's diagnostic report in their focus portal each time they take it. So this shows an example of what it looks like in their focus report. It shows you where by the grade level they scored. So for example, this student scored a level 3, and it shows where they scored in the level 3. So this specific student scored late level 3 based off of their scale score. This is an example of what the teacher sees. So parents receive a parent report that shows the diagnostic, but then the teachers get a little more information in their reports for how to ensure that they're able to gauge the instruction for their students. So this is an example of the diagnostic report that the teacher receives after a diagnostic is administered. As you can see, it has the same bar graph for each student, but on the bottom of their report, it shows their scale score for each specific domain. So it will also show if they need, this is a math diagnostic, so it would show if they need additional intervention in geometry or algebraic thinking, or maybe they scored very high in those domains and they need enrichment in those pieces. When the students take an additional diagnostic, so again, they take it in the beginning of the year, then they'll take it in January and again in the middle of the year. When they take it again this January, it's going to give the teacher an additional bar graph, but then it's also going to determine a growth score. So based off of their diagnostic results for their baseline and then their mid-year, it will determine what their typical growth and what their stretch growth is. So for this specific student, their typical growth was 16 points. This shows where this student scored at the end of the year. They made 28 points growth, and so it shows that they met that growth target. This helps the teacher to determine if the student is making adequate growth by the end of the school year, and if they are not, how to ensure that they provide interventions for those students. Once the student takes a diagnostic, as I said, it pushes out the student learning path. We have goals associated with that learning path. So the goals for the minutes per week is 45 minutes in reading as well as 45 minutes in math each week. In most classrooms, the students are able to complete those minutes in their class. Sometimes the student might need to do some of those pieces at home in order to ensure that they meet their goal. There is also a lessons passed goal. So the lessons completed each week should be an average of 1 to 2. Sometimes students will have 3 to 4. Sometimes students will only complete 1. The average pass rate should be above 70% or higher. And then interventions on each standard are provided if they're not passed. So if a student takes a lesson and it's on a specific standard, they don't pass with a 67% or higher, so that 70% is just average. If they don't pass at 60%, 67% or higher, iReady will push that lesson out to them again. If they don't pass that lesson again, then it turns that lesson off and it sends the teacher an alert to ensure that they provide intervention for that student. In your student's learning path, you also might see what's called teacher-assigned lessons. These are lessons that have been created by the teacher. So the teacher has the ability to push in a lesson that is based off of what they're learning in their classroom, or maybe they have seen through their small group instruction or individualized instruction that that specific student has an additional need that's not in their learning path. And so the teacher has the opportunity to push that lesson out for their students. This shows you an example of what the student's iReady looks like. So this is an example of a student that has both teacher-assigned lessons as well as their student-assigned path. You might not always see the teacher-assigned because, again, it's only if the teacher has pushed out a teacher-assigned lesson. So then the students have the option to either click on Next Lesson in the green, which is their student-assigned lessons, or to push out the teacher-assigned lesson, which is in the blue. The real important thing to remember to encourage your children is to make sure that when they start a lesson that they finish a lesson. So they should not be going back and forth between a teacher-assigned and not completing it and then go back into the iReady assigned and then not completing that. We want them to go into the lesson, work it out completely, take the quiz at the end of the lesson and complete it so that they are able to move on to their next standard. On the bottom, you'll see the red arrow pointing to that little blue box with the blue arrow. That is their progress, that goes into their progress. And then at the top, reading and math. You can switch back and forth to go into their reading data or their math data. So I'm going to show you an example of that. When you've clicked on the progress on the bottom, it will go into that specific student's progress for that week. So as you can see, this student up to this point has completed 47 minutes for reading, because that's what's clicked, for their iReady lessons. As to date, they have passed 35 lessons. If you look right there where it says pass rate, it shows that for the year, this student has passed 49 out of 52 of their lessons, so that's really good. If you click on completed work, then it's going to take you into their specific lessons. So then you're able to really see what their percentage has been on each of their lessons. And again, at any time, you can click on reading or math. If you want more opportunities to learn about iReady or to have more ideas for how to help your children at home, there is a website called iReady Central Family Center. And so the website is listed here, iReadyCentral.com/Family Center, and it goes into videos for how to support your child at home, especially if your child is working through Lee Home Connect. And then it also goes through different ways that you can monitor as well as provide celebrations for your student based on their iReady progress. So you can see it goes into videos for what is iReady and then also support students learning at home. I hope that this has answered and given you some more information for this great program that we have implemented into our schools, iReady. If you ever have any additional questions, you can contact your child's teacher or your child's school at any time. And we thank you for all of your support for your children's learning. Thank you.
Welcome back to Parent University. We are now joined by Suzie Starks, the Associate Executive Director for the Fort Myers YMCA. Suzie, thank you for being here.
Of course, happy to be here.
We're here to, we're going to talk about water safety today.
Yes.
Now it's only March, but we live in Florida, so it's pool season almost year round around here. So let's start with some statistics that you have about water safety and water danger.
Yeah, sure. So water safety is so important because, like you said, we live in Florida and there's water all around us. So some things that you might not know is that 3 kids die every day from drowning. And drowning is the second leading cause of death for kids age 5 to 14. And so 88% of kids who drown are under adult supervision. 60% of them are 10 feet away from safety. They just don't know how to get there. And, you know, drowning is preventable. And then the participation of formal swim lessons can reduce the risk of drowning by 88% for children 1 to 4. So water safety is very important, and teaching your kids early on is important as well.
Right. How about some advice, some tips that you have for parents out there with children, how to keep them safe around water?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of different tips, but I think some of the most important ones are to never swim alone, and you know, when you're in a public place, to make sure that there's a lifeguard on duty, and to make sure your kids understand what the lifeguard is there for. They're there to protect the pool, and they are the authority of the pool, so to listen for their whistle and to follow what they say. Another thing is if you're in a social gathering or a public pool at a party or something, to make sure that there's an adult that's designated as the water watcher, because a lot of the times when everyone's watching the pool, no one's watching the pool, right? So you want to make sure that one person is really watching all the kids in the pool. Adults should be constantly actively watching, so they're there but they're not actively watching. You know, another important tip is that kids should wear life jackets, so they should be Coast Guard approved. So I have some examples here of some Coast Guard approved life jackets. So things that aren't Coast Guard approved are like the blow up water wings and things like that. So you'll know that's Coast Guard approved because it'll say it on the inside. So this is for a child, and then this is a youth life jacket. So it's important to you that they fit properly. So if they get in the pool and it's like up to their ears, you know that it's not properly fit. So you want to make sure it's zipped and everything's buckled properly and it's cinched tight. So that's important, but it's
So if you're buying a life jacket for a child, you want to check the inside and make sure that it's got that
Yep,
label in there.
right here. Yep, Coast Guard approved. And there are some that you can buy at Target. Those puddle jumpers are Coast Guard approved, and those are nice because they buckle in the back, so they can actually unbuckle them while they're in the pool, because sometimes they think they don't need it. We have to remember as parents that this isn't a substitution for supervision. So, parents and guardians should, if you have a non-swimmer or a young child, you should still be in arm's reach in the pool with them, and not just, put them in their safety device and then walk away, because it's not a substitution for supervision. And then another important thing that parents might not think about is teaching your kid to ask permission to get in the pool, or waiting for an adult to invite them in. So this teaches kids that they have to wait for their parent or an adult to be out there with them. It also helps parents to think about if a child asks them if they want to go in the pool, or they say, "Can I go in the pool?" and it's not time to swim, they know that they are thinking about the water. So to be more cautious of where they are in their house, or if you have a pool at your house or something like that. And then you can also, when you're getting ready to swim, instead of just letting them go into the pool, have like a designated safety seat. So this can be on the steps or something, so it's a safety area, but also it's somewhere that they can sit until they're invited into the pool or their parent is ready to get in with them. So that's really important. And then something else that we might not think about is to wear proper swim attire. So wearing a swimsuit, something that's you can move easily in, having swim diapers for babies. So, if you're wearing jeans or baggy clothes, it gets really heavy, and you don't think about that. That can kind of weigh you down. And
No jeans in the pool,
no
kids.
jeans in the pool.
Yeah.
So that's all the tips that I have.
So one thing that you didn't mention, if parents who have pools at their house, what about the importance of getting one of those like gates or fences around the pool?
Yes, that is important, or having extra locks or an alarm on your doors so that you know when a child has gone outside into the pool. So that is very important to have that too.
Yeah, I used to be a local TV reporter, and unfortunately every now and then we'd have to cover those tragic stories of toddlers who can open doors and get out to the pool, and if they had had a fence or a gate up, could have prevented some tragedies. Swim lessons.
Yes.
YMCA offers swim lessons for children, right?
We do, yes.
It's very important for, obviously all of the safety measures in place, life jackets, things like that, but it's also important for them to know how to swim, right? So Can you tell us about the swim lessons you offer?
Yeah, sure. YMCA is committed to raising awareness, and we really do that with swim lessons. And we teach these safety aspects in our swim lessons as well. And then we teach the kids, like I said, a lot of drownings happen when they're very close to the edge of the pool. So we teach them how to get back to the pool and things like that. So a few things how we do that is we teach to swim, float, swim. So that's where a kid swims and they turn on their back to float, and then they swim again. So this helps them, if they are face down in the pool, to be able to get their bodies up to take a breath and then kick their way back to the side of the pool. Another thing we teach is jump, push, turn, and grab. So this is if a child falls in the pool, they're able to turn themselves around and grab the side of the wall. So this is important because, you see the toddlers who reach out to get something in the pool and they fall in, and then they'd be able to get themselves out. And then another thing we teach is reach, throw, don't go. So this is important, especially at a home pool or something like that, is that you never, if you see someone struggling in the pool, you never jump in to help save them. So we try to teach the kids that so that they don't, because then, a drowning person is going to push you under as well, so then you're also a victim. So we teach them to use a pool noodle or even like a broom or something to lay down on the side of the pool and reach out and get a friend that's in distress.
Gotcha. And these swim lessons, where are they held? When are they offered?
So we have swim lessons starting in April at the Cypress Lake Pool on Saturdays, and then we'll be running swim lessons in Cape Coral during the summer on Saturdays. And then we do offer camps and things like that to help kids to learn swimming. All of our children go through that are in our camps that do not pass our swim test, so they have to wear a life jacket. They do our safety around water course that teaches all of these things so that they can learn a few of these while they're at camp. And so that's great for the parents, and also it teaches them, you know, to be aware of their surroundings at the pool.
How much do the swim lessons cost?
If you're a member, they are $80, and if you're not a member, they're $160, and that's for 8 30-minute sessions.
Great. If parents are interested in learning a little bit more, is there a website they can go to for information?
Yes, they can go to our website. It's ymcaswfl.org.
And one last thing, I saw you're hiring you need lifeguards,
Yes,
right?
we do. We always need lifeguards in the summer, and our lifeguards, we start at 16 on, and so my first job was as a lifeguard, so it's a great first job. So, you know, we provide all of the training that they need and everything.
I was going to ask you if they need any if there are any requirements, so if they have no experience, I mean, you should probably know how to swim, right?
They should know how to swim, but if they don't have experience with the job or something, that's
They
fine.
get all the training
They
from
get
you.
all the training they need.
Great.
Yep.
So, you know, parents, if you have a 16-year-old or older at home and they need a job, they can look into becoming a lifeguard for the YMCA. That's great. All right. Suzie, is there anything else you'd like to say while we still have you?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here. We'll be right back with our school shout-outs and prize giveaway right after this brief message.
Are you looking for an exciting opportunity where you can help make a meaningful impact in the lives of Lee County children? Well, great news. The School District of Lee County is hiring, and we want you to join our team. You're invited to our Spring Recruitment Fair on Saturday, April 29th at the Lee County Public Education Center, located at 2855 Colonial Boulevard in Fort Myers. Schools from across Lee County are looking for teachers, school psychologists, speech-language pathologists, school social workers, and school counselors for the next school year. The recruitment fair is your opportunity to network, interview, and possibly get hired on the spot. We encourage you to pre-register for this event, and you can do so up until April 21st. For more information on how to register and requirements for certain positions, visit leeschools.net or send us an email to careers@leeschools.net or call us at 239-337-8676. And we'll see you on April 29th.
We hope you enjoyed this month's program, and we thank our guests who provided us with very important information.
Please remember to take our follow-up survey to get credit for this session, and make sure to share with other families so they can participate as well.
We want to give a special shout out to the schools with the highest participation: Cypress Lake Middle School, Rama C. Page Elementary, and Tanglewood Elementary.
And now it's time for this month's giveaway. We have a $25 Topgolf gift card.
Yes, we heard how popular it was last time, so we got you another one. So we're going to shake it up and see who this month's winner is. Remember, in order to be entered to win, you have to take our survey. All right, the winner is Lindsay Medley Deborah from Tanglewood Elementary School.
Congratulations, Lindsay. We'll be in touch to let you know how to claim your prize. Well, would you look at that? That's it for this month's program.
That's it. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.